Hey there, friends. Pastor Dave here with another weekly devotion for all the saints. Hope you're doing well today. We're into the second week of Advent already. We lit the candle for peace last Sunday, and so I want to share this from the Presbyterian Outlook's Advent devotional series called Draw Near. This begins with a reading from 1 Thessalonians. Be at peace among yourselves. See that none of you repays evil for evil, but always seek to do good to one another and to all. The busy port city of first century Thessalonica buzzed, ships docking, traders haggling, languages and accents crowding the marketplace. As the Roman capital of Macedonia, it was a crossroads of cultures, religions, loyalties. Diversity brought opportunity and friction. Against that backdrop, Paul wrote, "Be at peace among yourselves." He did not mean peace that evokes a quiet calm of sameness. Rather, Paul's peace entails making a courageous commitment to the common good in a teeming cosmopolitan city. Paul pushes further, do good to all. Not just to those sharing your accent or your politics, not just to your church friends, all. Even the rival merchant, the skeptical philosopher, the cynic who rolls their eyes at your faith. Revenge is the default currency of a world jostling for power. But Paul calls the Thessalonians to a radical alternative, an economy where evil isn't repaid, but resisted through right relationships, where goodness and goodwill is the circulating currency, where the peace of Christ stretches enough to shelter strangers. Advent invites us into that practice today. Our news and social media feeds resemble Thessalonica's streets, crowded with opinions, collisions, and competing narratives. How do we keep peace amid this crowded and diverse public square? We resist the reflex to strike back. We look for the smallest actionable good, an honest compliment, a listening ear, a cup of coffee shared with someone whose worldview jars our own. Each choice for goodness is a lantern of peace lit in a crowded port, offering a beacon to the world. Well, Saints, we've had a lot of winter weather this past week, and I'll tell you, when the snow is freshly fallen, it is beautiful. There's something about it that just makes the world feel more peaceful, right? But then it starts to melt, it turns into slush, we start to shovel it, we start to plow it up into these piles of dirty snow, and we start to see that underneath the world has not changed. It is still just as messy and dirty as it always was. And we start to uncover the reality that was always there. I think that's a little bit like what the devotional writer is saying when she says that Paul didn't ask for people to just cover over their disagreements and their challenges with a sense of sameness. Paul asked for people to seek peace. Even in the midst of disagreement, even in the midst of a world that was full of competing viewpoints, differences of opinion, arguments, sometimes over truly important topics. But Paul asked for us to find ways to do good towards each other, whether we disagree or not, to do good. I think that can be such a challenging thing for us, especially online, on social media. When we see people expressing viewpoints that we disagree with, when we see reports of things happening that really upset and trouble us, it is hard for us not to have a knee-jerk response, to argue, to engage with the thing that is winding us up on the emotional level. What would it look like if we resisted that impulse? What are some ways that we might respond differently? Perhaps instead of arguing with a person who oftentimes we don't truly know very well, they're just some kind of peripheral to our circle, or maybe they're not even someone we know at all, a person who just has some kind of public notoriety. Instead of engaging in that kind of abstracted relationship, what if we pulled back and really tried to engage in a face-to-face relationship? Tried to have a conversation with someone who we know, who perhaps does have a different viewpoint from us, but is someone who we do interact with in real ways, not just online. When we sit down together with people face to face, something different happens. We recognize the humanity in the other. We read facial cues and body language. We understand where they're coming from in a way that we don't when we're online and just trying to win an argument. What if we made a conscious choice to prioritize the real connections that we have in our lives? Would that help us find more peace? Something to reflect on this week. Name one person or group outside your usual circle who could benefit from a simple act of goodness this week. What concrete steps will you take to seek to do good for them? That's your devotion this week, Saints. Hope it's helpful. I hope you are doing well and staying healthy. I'll be praying for you. Please keep praying for me, and I'll see y'all again soon. Take care.